If you are a creative and your work is lacking a certain finesse. If you are a visual artist and what you are painting as of late feels bums, or you have a block, a writer's block, a visual block, if you have something you are not able to deal with, or if you are just making Pinterest boards and your Pinterest boards right now are looking bum cheeks, then this is the video for you. Today we are going to look over the artworks from the Elden Ring Artbook, and we are going to see how well they compose images and they bring out such a spectacular vibe and such an energy, a raw, powerful energy that can only be found in a world like Elden Ring. So first things first, the first thing we notice about these characters is the drench, the oversaturation, the overdrip of gold that you find entrenched in the world of Elden Ring. And it's something that is repeated over and over again, especially in the more powerful characters. You get this gold that just doesn't leave whatever they do in Elden Ring. What I like about the characters as well, from a visual perspective, is the shapes that they set up. So we have this circular shape, then we have an overlaying box-like shape that somewhat tapers off. Then we have this line, and the legs are somewhat like these little sticks compared to the entire torso and the hunchback nature of this creature. And then of course the arms are long and lanky. He looks like the Beast Titan from Attack on Titan. He looks like Zeke. Levi would be mad, bro. Also, things like this that exist in the world that are not exactly characters but are creatures that live in the world. We used to get scarabs that are somewhat similar, titanium beetles. You'd get them in Dark Souls, in the Dark Souls series. But these little guys carry around these cerulean and ruby stacks of dung that you can hit, and you'll either get a mana power up or a health power up from doing that. So very core to the world, but also very forgettable until someone brings it up and you realize that they had to design these and they fit so well within the world of Elden Ring. Okay, and then we have the default warrior. We've got some of the scenery, Torrent, Sorceress Salen. The reason why I like her attire and how it's built here is that they managed to show you the silhouette of her inside as well, that there is someone here. And this has always felt really cool, the diadem of jewels on top of the head. This has a lot of swag. If you are designing something, like, you can really take a lot of inspiration between using mixed medium of crystals and then mixing it with a more matte stone kind of thing. So a marble and stone, flat stone design, and then adding in fabrics like this. This is a very powerful combination. The book just makes it drip even more, let's not lie. This book is excellent within the design. And of course, you know, Miyazaki likes his feet. The hands also coming out and the feet also being very skinny when the design is actually so large is very interesting to me visually as well. It brings a certain contrast that you only find in a world that contrasts the power that your character has versus the power that the rest of the world has. Characters like this feel more relatable because you can also see that they have a somewhat condensement of power. It's the same with Gideon Ofnir, who's somewhat a joke character by the time you fight him, let's not lie. He's one of the easiest bosses to clean, but a very condensed, somewhat small figure in a world of absolute beasts like Radahn existing. Radahn himself is such a Goliath of a figure. You got these great long swords with the Elden runes inscripted on them. You've got this huge ass longbow, and then you've got this hair, which we see in a lot. It looks like Dragon Ball Z, you get me? But we see it in a lot of the character designs, especially the ones who are supposed to feel stronger in the world. We see it with Melania. Her hair is long, it flows. We see it with Mikola as well. Even though Mikola is not a character that we really directly interact with, Mikola's got the long flowing hair as well. We see it with Ranni the Witch. We see it with Godfrey, specifically in his lion, Sarosh, and with Malekith, the Black Blade as well. We also see a very similar thing going on. Huge armor set, huge hulking figure, uses gravity magic, pulls you down, and very powerful silhouettes. And that's what I'm saying. When you are building a world, when you are in the process of world building, when you are in the process of building a mood board, when you are in the process of storytelling, building anything visually, you want to be able to build huge figures and small figures and use the contrast to make your work stand out. And that's what Elden Ring, the world of Elden Ring, does so well. Marika also has an emphasis on the long hair and gold. When you look at Marika, it's really just about framing her really nicely in this circular spiral pattern. This dress, this fabric makes you really focus on what's going on here. And you don't even see her face. She's just this enigmatic figure that sticks out and really wants you to look at it. It's very mysterious. You see this diadem on her neck, and then you see the hair kind of flowing this way. Of course, the curves. One of the more beautiful figures, quote unquote, in the world of Elden Ring. Not a lot of feminine structures or figures that you find in this world. Very masculine, very raw, very based on triangles and squares of power. Not a lot of curves and circles to make it feel a lot smoother. And of course, we do get a little bit of Christian Dior denim flow. You know, I told you I'm trying to eat out, but what we going to dinner for? But yeah, we do get a somewhat Christian cross that she is formed in with the crucifixion. These things are these things are the most hallucinogenic creatures in Elden Ring, in my opinion. You fight these things and they generate like these illusions that you have to fight against. You basically fight against the mirage, and then you realize that what you have to kill is a snail or a snake snail, a weird thing that makes you hallucinate when you fight it. Very interesting. Oh, I love this. I love this. So this is Rinola, and what this made me feel like the first time I saw it, it's Renaissance, it's Baroque, but I really thought of the Sistine Chapel the first time I saw this. Michelangelo. Her hat is very moon coded. She's definitely a moon character. That's why she resonates with a character. Well, she doesn't resonate. She's literally the mother of Ranni the Witch, who also uses a lot of moon stuff. Then we have her floating in the sky. If you don't know the lore about this, and this is a pretty old game by now, so I'm gonna hit you with a spoiler. She's carrying an egg behind her. So right here, there's an egg, and you can somewhat see the glow in the image. I love the fact that they didn't show it in this art. And the flowing of her, again, very feminine, very curved, and it's almost feminine in a motherly way because it's a square feminine. It's not made to be like this accentuant, young, sexy feminine. It's more like a regal, more like a magical, more like a respect me feminine. A mother feminine. And speaking of a mother feminine, you've got all of her kids here. I think the lore on this is that the egg she's carrying has this child in, but this child can never be born. So these things are somewhat illusions of the child. Someone correct me if I'm wrong on that in the lore. So we also have stuff like this, the god skins. I think these guys have a very sleek design. They wear the skin of other characters, kind of crazy, bro. And then they always have these sharp pointed weapons and they attack you from far. It's very intimidating, very threatening. I like the fact that there's somewhat a visual language that communicates that if a figure is not built very big, like circular, rah, 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 or they're not built very big, triangular, rah, 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 you know, like this, like, you know, like Diamond Head from Ben 10, you know what I'm saying? Big, hulking figure, rah, rah. You can even add another leg to it because in Elden Ring, you got like another leg. If they're not built like these two archetypes, they'll be like these really long, lanky-like figures. And then they'll be scary in this sense, like a Slender Man kind of thing. Let me just delete the other two. They'll be really long in this sense, like a Slender Man kind of figure, you know? Very intimidating from like a height perspective. Like, yo, that thing is way too tall to exist. This world is based on psychology. When you meet a boss or a figure or an NPC, it's supposed to be threatening. The fact that this is the first thing you fight, well, a lot of people tried to take this thing on. I didn't because I realized that I was power gapped from the jump. I walked past him and I walked to the merchant. But this is supposed to intimidate you the first time you see it. When you walk into Limgrave for the first time in a playthrough, there's this huge shield, there's this huge horse, and this huge ass axe, and you really have no business fighting it the first time you see it. And you're around this tall in the world, by the way. You're like here, right? This is you. This is you. And this is this. And you have to fight this. And this is the first real big mob you see to fight. A lot of people do take it on, kudos to them, but it's a lot of people who play very different games. Elden Ring is a very different mentality kind of game. I also like creatures like Ancient Protector, because Ancient Protector is supposed to be this very elegant, somewhat beautiful figure, but it's contrasted by rot. You can see here in the actual design for it and the painting. It's contrasted by rot, a decay, a death that is taking it from being this very beautiful, elegant thing. And that's what we see a lot in the world of Elden Ring of. We see a lot of rot, decay, and we also don't see a lot of faces. Even though a lot of the time it's implied that a lot of these faces are beautiful underneath the masks that they wear. There's somewhat a coded language that is supposed to communicate that there's a level of beauty and a hidden beauty that is found in this world, but we can't unlock it or untap it because the world is so harsh. Look at the scars on Melina's hand. When you meet her, she's got this hood on. Very mysterious, very hidden. You don't get to see a lot of the beauty. A lot of the beauty in this world is hidden, and it's for you to seek out. In terms of the characters and the people, in the world itself, it's a very different thing. Hey bro, another thing about the world of Elden Ring is that doesn't it just look bougie and expensive? Doesn't Fortistax here just look very bougie and expensive because of the gold just dripping off of this? Very interesting. You know, I didn't realize that this character is somewhat built off a butterfly, this dragon. It doesn't feel like that when you're fighting it in the world. Doesn't give that sort of energy, you know. Characters like Morgoth, when you see them in paintings like this, they feel like spiders, they feel like different creatures. It's otherworldly. It captures a different essence, but there's a gold, regal energy coming from everything that this series tries to do. And if not a gold, regal energy, an energy of strength. Characters who are heroes are communicated with strength, big axes, big swords, you know, big hulking figures. You get me? Very masculine. This is what I was talking about as well with Sarosh. Look at that hair flowing, long hair flowing, huge axe, hulking figure. That's the visual language of Elden Ring. Why this is important is for your own drip, for your own source. When you're making a brand, you can decide to go in the opposite direction. So if you want to go against the visual language of Elden Ring, what you can do is you can create circles, can make small figures with circles, and if hulking big swords make something intimidating and intense, you can give them cute small little weapons like that, and then big eyes that you can see, and then smiley faces. And then that's how you go against the visual language. So what we're learning here is how to take a visual language like Elden Ring and even go in the opposite direction. Less detail, less hulking shape, more round shapes, and you create a cute little thing. And you can always make this cute little thing, you can give it an element of contrast, you can give it a big weapon to emphasize its cuteness. So you can make it even more cute by giving it a huge weapon that doesn't really fit the design philosophy of what it is. And the big weapon in that case contrasts the initial design of the character. So it makes it, it's like this character, for example, the envoys, right? So the envoys are these cute little round things in another world, but in this world, they're contrasted by the fabrics and the fact that they've got these horns which shoot bubbles out of them, these huge golden horns. It's a golden world, and I just love this world of Elden Ring. Here's one of the bosses you fight, shoots fire at you. It's one of the sentinels. It's a dragon something sentinel. I've forgotten its name. You've got the beastman from Faram Azula. I like this Carrion Knight. You fight him before you fight Rennala. I've always loved the design of just the traditional knight. You've got the Clean Rot Knights. These guys follow Melania. You've got Astor the Voidborn. This is really trippy because in contrast to all of the other art and the styles you see in Elden Ring, this is a more alien kind of figure. He's got these mandibles here. You know, he fits in the world, but you can tell he's otherworldly. He's an otherworldly figure who fits the design philosophy of Elden Ring, but he does not belong here. If you want to set up a visual language like this, you do somewhat have to focus on creating keywords, motifs for yourself. Rot, you know, you have to focus on rot, pain, massive, hulking, intimidating, fantasy, dark fantasy, glorious ruin. You know, you've got to think along those lines for a very long time. What are these guys called again? The Albinax or something? Albinaurics, yes. So here are some of the weapons. You can look at them. This one I like a lot because it was based off of the throne in Game of Thrones, because George R.R. Martin helped write some of the story. Then we've got Saint Trina's sword. This is supposed to be Miquella's blade. It puts you to sleep if you're attacked by it enough. Then you've got weapons like this. Like, what the hell? It's like got this horse head and then a claw coming out that looks like a mandible. And I'm going to blitz through the rest of the world, just get to this. This is the core identity, I feel, of Elden Ring. The Erd tree in the back that you're always seeing. You're always approaching the Erd tree, getting closer to it. You eventually find it in the capital of Leyndell, and it helps bring life to the world. Alright, and that's the world of Elden Ring, the visual language. I hope what this did for you is that it inspired you to get your ass up and to also paint something or create something or do something with its own coded visual language and bring out an energy to a consumer that has something of a life or an essence like the world of Elden Ring does. Okay, this is Lois signing off. Peace.